Welcome everybody. So as you probably know already, this is Monday, my actual Monday, which means you guys missed out on a, what do you call it? Car quiz today. That's right. My fault, my mistake. Yeah, that's right. The back window is actually in. I got that piece somewhere. Anyway, I did that over the weekend. Pretty satisfying actually getting that in. New pieces. I did the body work and stuff here and got the glass in. That was pretty cool. So without further ado, let's get to this quiz. I'll see you in just a second. Car quiz today. I was going to call it something like, I can't call it late car quiz today. I was going to call it something else like, I don't feel tardy. You know, David Lee Roth, Hot for Teacher. I don't feel tardy. Car quiz today. So I'm going to set you guys up right here where I can keep an eye on you. And come down here. Nope, not that far. That's pretty good. Okay, there you go. All right. All right, so car quiz today. What do we have? Oldsmobile questions? Yes, we did. And the overwhelming response was the 455 Olds. And you're right, it was the 455. Let me go through and find your answers. Hold a second, please. Hold, please. Hold, please, video. There it is, Oldsmobile. Nope, we don't want to hear. We don't want to hear from me. So 35 of you comments, or 35 comment. RNG Garage says, don't know anything about that, but was wondering if they have good donuts over there. P.S. My Ford Plymouth has those left-hand threads on it. Good job, buddy. Thanks, Robert. Has nothing to do with Oldsmobile. I know. Oh, and Turlo's Garage, Andy, he responded, I believe the knockoffs were side specific. Remember I asked if it was, if you knocked them on rotating side specifically, whatever. Thanks, buddy. Left-hand threads are on the right hand on the left or something. The top spinner tightens by hitting the rear of the car. Oh, so both directions, you just swing towards the rear of the car regardless. Makes sense. That way the pit only has to swing towards the back. As far as the old wheel highest torque rating, I'm guessing it would be the 45. The 1970 455 was rated 400 horse and 510 foot-pounds of torque. He had to edit his answer. Good job, buddy. You are correct, sir, but you didn't tell me what vehicle it was in. I'll tell you in a second, but it's true. 400 horse and 510 foot-pounds of torque. When I tell you what car it's in, you may or may not be surprised. Oh, and then he corrects it, goes, my bad, 500 foot-pounds, 510 was the Stage 1 Buick GS. And he thinks it was in the W30 442 in 1970. Oh, you're so close, Andy. 510 is the Buick one in the GSX. That is true, or the Stage 1 Buick. That is absolutely true, 510. I think it was like 375 horse, 510. The Oldsmobile was 400 horse, 510. They also had a 400 horse, 500 foot-pounds, and they had a 385 horse, 500 pounder. They had lots of different high torque Olds. I'll tell you what it was in a second. Awesome stuff. Iron Horse Garage says, I don't know. We could Google the answer, but I don't feel like that'd be right and fair. No, you could. That's okay. My guess is 66 Olds 455. Well, I don't think they made the 455 in 66, but good answer. No, wrong. Playing with horsepower. The Olds Delta 88 had a 455 Super Rocket that had 10 afterburner compression and took leaded fuel. I believe it was 68, 67 or 68. That is correct, sir, but that is not the motor I'm talking about. Harnet's Garage. Hey, Brant, for the Olds question, I would say the 45. I know they had a version around 400 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque. I would take a guess, say it was probably in the 442 around 69 or 70, but I'm not 100% sure. He loves Buicks, Olds, and Pontiacs, but I don't really know lots about them other than he wants one someday. I agree. I have a couple bucket list cars. Good guess. Poogly's Speed Shop says, Aloha Jaws, digging the BOP question. The 7442W30 package had the highest torque rating, 370 horsepower at 500 foot-pounds of torque. Oh, and a different note, be careful with the liability insurance on your car. He did that with a 65 C10 while he was shopped around for classic car insurance, and a chick in a minivan on her phone drove into him. Oh, that sucks. Totaling his truck, and the insurance company offered $1,800. Of course you declined it and built it yourself. I would do the same thing. This has only got liability insurance for that same reason. I have plenty of parts, and if it gets wrecked, it gets wrecked. Insurance for this thing, for me to drive it every day, is like $4,000 a year versus liability insurance for $480 a year for every 6 months. So I went with the liability stuff because I can't do classic car insurance because I drive it too much. That's just the plain simple fact. And that's okay. I'll just assume I don't want to pay $4,000 a year for this thing. In 2 years or 3 years, the car will be paid for by insurance premiums. Not going to happen. Nope, wrong. It's not. Stupid dumb guy. What did I do? No. Hello, everybody. Good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Myself talking to myself. Here we go. Andy's Doghouse. Hey, Jaws, I know that this is a week late. His 54 had left-hand studs, too. Passenger car. He hated replacing them, and he made them right-handed. Good job. And he put in a 93 GMC rear. He likes the quizzes. He learned stuff. Kevin L. says a 68 Oldsmobile introduced in 455 Rocket. In 70, they produced a W30 package. Forced air induction is rated at 370 horsepower at 5,200 RPM and 500 foot-pounds of torque at 3,600. Was using the 442 Cutlass. Good job, buddy, but that's not the one I'm looking for. Brian Kinnear says, I believe it was a 70 Cutlass, 442 with a W30 package, 455 cubic inches of 500 foot-pounds of torque. Fully optioned the 4-speed. C. A father of a buddy of mine bought it one brand new, fully optioned with a 4-speed. Oh. Drove it like an old lady and only used it to pull the boat up to the college on the weekend. He liked the extra torque for that. I'll bet he did. My buddy never got to drive it, and his dad traded it in on a Vista Cruiser. Still a cool car. I love Vista Cruisers. And they sold the cottage. The girls say hi, be safe, and say well. Aloha, girls. Left for Dead Garage HG says, I'm failing this class. Zeros on the last 2 quizzes. You're right, buddy. But you 4-speeded your Impala, so it kind of makes up for it. Nova Guy says, full support. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Okay, I'll get into it. This car quiz was actually brought to you by my buddy Cameron, who's a big BOP nut, and he's the one who said, why don't you ask him a question about this? So here's the deal, and I had forgotten about this car. I don't know why. So in 1970, Oldsmobile made a Tornado. Everybody knows that. 69, 2, 68, 60, I think 66 was the first year. They had hot 400s, but the Tornado in 69 and 70 had 400 horsepower and 510 foot-pounds of torque, but it was only in the Tornado GT with the W34. That was an interesting car. Can you imagine having that much foot-pounds of torque in front-wheel drive? Like in the snow with studs? Like, you're not going to go anywhere. In a 7,000-pound beast, they still were pretty fast. On a quick story, my buddy Cameron and I we used to have a place called Pick and Pull in Reno. And we used to go in there, and you could buy like a complete V8 engine for like, I think it was like $90 or something. But we used to go in there hunting around, and they had like Oldsmobiles, Eldorados, all sorts of stuff lined up in the GM row. And we'd look for the Tornados, and we'd go look and see, because most of those had the good heads and the good cams. And ironically, that's what it was. Oldsmobile had like a cam for basically every body style. But they still got 500 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, the 442, the W30, 442, and 70 was 370 horse, 500 foot-pounds. But if you look at the torque range rating and the RPM rating of the engines, you'll see that they like all varied. Like the torque came in real low on some and higher on the other, and the cam made more horsepower than others. But still, with that big of a motor, they still made a ton of torque. They were pretty conservative, and they were pretty detuned. I mean, if a guy knew how to tune one right and play with it pretty good, man, you could make those things run. Cam had that old Cutlass that he had. When we swapped that PW camshaft and lifters, cam and lifter and timing chain kit into it, it woke that little 350 up. I mean, that thing moved out. I was impressed with the 391 gear and that turbo 350. Man, that thing ran good. Anyway, that is your car quiz for the answers for last week. I apologize again, but I don't feel tardy. For this week, no excuses. I just actually woke up in the middle of the night and was like, oh no, I forgot. But it is what it is. Not that you guys aren't important to me. You are important to me. Here is your quiz question. This goes back to the MOPAR nerds. All right, MOPAR nerds. Okay, so you guys have Dodge has an AA 833 4-speed. One of the toughest transmissions. I think it's probably in my opinion, probably the toughest production 4-speed transmission made. Way tougher than a Muncie. I don't know if they're quite as tough as a Ford top loader. They're pretty tough, but the A833 is like bulletproof. But did you know, and you Dodge guys know this, and they made an A834, was also a 4-speed. So what I want to know is, what was the difference, and what car did it come in with what engine combination? That's what I want to know. I want your answers by Sunday at noon. In the meantime, I'm going to keep cranking away at this thing. I have taken around the block a bunch of times. You can see I'm putting the snout on. I ordered the wrong thickness of this, so I'm kind of on hold a little bit. I'm going to put in the rear end that my buddy George gave me. That's a 9-inch with 4 10s or 4 11s, posi. That's going to go in here. I have to finish the rest of the wiring. I'll let you see what I've got so far. Some stuff in there. It does start off its own key. It does charge. It does do all that fun stuff. And now it has a back glass, like I said. In fact, this is the first time this car's actually had glass and been sealed up in 20 some years. This particular bumper says 2002, but the other bumper I got over there that George gave me says 1979. I don't really know if this bumper was actually on this car. A lot of this trim and stuff wasn't. So who knows how long this car's been off the road, but it's been off the road at least a long time. Yes, George, I will grind that down and paint all that black in there. And I'll fix the floor. I have to go get a safety inspection hopefully this week. So hopefully this week this thing is actually legal and on the road. I want it done by next weekend. That's what I said. Lava lamp. One more time. 4-speed. Gosh, you kids are great. I love you. I love every one of you. I'll see you guys later. And to all the new subscribers, holy crap. Wow, 445 I think I saw today. Are you serious? That's like 5 away from 450, which is 50 away from 500, which is, it's July, right? That's like halfway, a little more than halfway to 1,000. You guys must want me to come over there pretty bad. Okay, so that means I gotta start saving for this and figure out where we're gonna go. That, I will leave you with that and your quiz questions, and then we have more talking to do later. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, which will be tomorrow? No. Yeah, you guys, I'll see you Wednesday. Bye.